go on an honor flight and visit those memorials. So Give Day Tampa Bay is here right now to honor our veterans. And if you don't have that charity that you've already made that commitment to, now is the time to pick one, and the honor flight is something certainly that can change a life.
We have no paid employees. 97 cents of every dollar that's contributed goes to flying our veterans. We have very low overhead. All volunteer, 350 volunteers within our organization. And the thing we need as much as money is to help spread the word so we can get our World War II veterans, our Korean War veterans signed up for honor flights before we lose them.
Sure.
We're, of the 16 million that served in World War II, we have fewer than 590,000 left. We're losing them at 372 per day.
Wow.
And so please, everyone, money, yes, absolutely. But please help us find the veterans.
Get the word
sign
out.
them up.
And we know that we have a lot of families, free trips, really. We know we have a lot of families viewing, so please do get that word out to our veterans. And gentlemen, thank you. It's been an honor to have you.
Yeah, thank you
It's
very
our
much for letting
pleasure.
us be
Thank
here.
you so much for having us.
Thank you. Now that wraps up this hour and my time for being here, but stay tuned for the next hour. Rob Lorei will be here. He will be hosting the live program, but most importantly, log on to giveday.org anytime before midnight tonight and make a contribution to your favorite nonprofit organization. You can choose from over 500 organizations, and you will be supporting those groups who keep the Tampa Bay area healthy and strong. Thanks for supporting Give Day. We'll see you next hour.
Welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2017, live from the WEDU studios at the Berkman Family Broadcast Center. Good evening and welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay. My name is Rob Lorei and I'll be your host for the next hour of our live streaming webcast. We're here at the WEDU studios in Tampa with representatives from some of the more than 500 nonprofits who are participating in Give Day Tampa Bay. The theme of Give Day is Live Here, Give Here, and making a donation is quick and easy. Just log on to giveday.org and search for your favorite local charity from our list of participants. When you hit the donate button, you will fill in your credit card information and make your secure gift. The minimum donation is only $5. So Give Day will be going on until midnight tonight. We'll be live streaming from now until 7 p.m. In the next hour, I'll be talking and listening to various nonprofit groups who are making a difference in Tampa Bay. And my guests this hour, right now, my first guests are from from the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. Sherry Silk is here. Hey, Sherry. And Karen Riles. Sherry is the CEO. Karen is the Chief Development Officer. Welcome to WEDU and Give Day.
Thank you. And this
Thank
is
you.
Lily,
Hi,
your other
Lily.
guest.
And Barney.
And
Hi, Barney. So tell us about Lily and Barney. How did they happen to come to you at this Humane Society?
Well, the Humane Society of Tampa Bay takes in over 8,000 animals every single year that are stray animals or people that just can't keep their pets any longer. And he came from us, or she did, excuse me, from a shelter that was at risk of euthanizing animals.
Oh, no.
We're a no-kill for space shelter, and we agreed to take her in and her litter mates. She's adorable. And we do this quite regularly. If the animals are at risk of being euthanized, we will take them into our adoption program.
When will Lily be ready for adoption?
She's ready now.
She's
She's
ready
been
right now. So if somebody's
spayed.
watching right now,
She's a sweetie too.
Yeah.
She's been
Oh.
spayed. She's had her initial shots, and she's got a microchip, so she is ready to go home tomorrow if somebody's interested.
and what kind of mix is
She's like a
Lily?
spaniel, maybe shepherd mix. I think she's going to probably be between 40 and 50.
She's so
50
sweet.
pounds.
Such a sweet dog.
And the adorable little kitten that Karen has was just a family member didn't want to have cats, so someone had given them as a gift, and so they brought her into us and ready to go. Also
Barney-
go up for
Barney
adoption.
is-
He's very handsome, isn't
Barney
he?
is very handsome, very regal too. So 8,000 animals are taken in a month.
Yes,
at the Humane-
8,000 a year.
Okay.
We adopt out, it's 8,000, like 400 and some animals. We adopt out over 8,000 animals. We have a 96% save rate, which is pretty remarkable. But we also do other things. We have a full-service, affordable animal hospital. So if any of the listeners, our viewers, have a pet that needs medical care, they can come to our hospital. It's very affordable. We do free shot clinics. We have a food assistance program to help people that are, retirees or people that are struggling financially. And there's still a lot of that going on in our community. So not only do we want to adopt them, but we also want to help people keep their pets. That's our mission.
Well, ownership is a real responsible position, and a
is.
lot of people, for them, it's going to be the first time that they adopt a pet.
Right.
Do you give advice and help as to how to be a responsible pet owner?
Oh boy, do we! We probably give too much advice, but we want to make sure that you're matched with the right animal with your lifestyle. So we do. I think our adoption coordinators do a really great job of that.
What about training? Because if somebody hasn't house trained a dog yet and they don't know how to do it, do you give them help on how to house train a dog?
Yep, we do.
Yeah.
We have a trainer on staff, so there's all kinds of information, and of course the internet. It's really easy to find out that information. But
Yeah, these days.
we are a resource for the community, and I love what you said. Give local, because a lot of those sad commercials you see on TV, the ASPCA commercials and so forth, that money does not come back to the folks here in Tampa. So please, folks, if you have that extra $5 or whatever, give it to your local charity first.
Those commercials do pull on the heartstrings,
they're
but those
sad.
kind of animals are right here in the Tampa Bay area.
Right.
These guys are right here.
Yeah, so we could do a good deed. Now, do you take any animals in besides dogs and cats?
Oh, yes. We've got gerbils, guinea pigs, ferrets,
Potbelly
hamsters, potbelly pigs.
Incredible. And these are all
And rabbits.
Yep.
usually voluntarily given up by a family or found stray on the street? Or
Yes.
Both.
Both.
The
yeah.
majority are dogs and cats, though. Dogs and cats and rabbits.
And if people need spay and neutering services, can they come by and to the Humane Society?
Yes, very affordable. I mean, cats are under $50, and our dog spays, depending on how large they are. Usually, it's under $100. So you can't beat the price of our hospital, and we do that because we want people to spay and neuter their pets, which is so very important. Keep your pets vaccinated, and if they have a health issue, come to our hospital.
All right. Well, what a great service. Thank you for coming by. I wish I could adopt both of them.
You could. We could make you a special deal.
But I know there's somebody out there looking
I
at
think so, too.
both Barney and Lily and saying,
This one's gone to
Barney's
sleep,
for me.
actually.
Yeah, look at it.
that.
She's very
It's past her
relaxed.
bedtime.
well, Sherry and Karen, thanks a lot for coming by.
Thank you so much for having
Humane
us.
Society of Tampa Bay. While our next guests are being seated, let's go to our leaderboard and get an updated total on the donations that have come in so far. Oh. Our next nonprofit is the Henry B. Plant Museum, which is located right in downtown Tampa. And our guest is Lindsay Hubin, who is with the museum. And Lindsay, welcome to WEDU. Great to see you.
Thank you. We're so happy to be participating in Give Day today. It's a great opportunity for people to learn about the museum.
Henry Plant was quite a figure in 1800s America.
Absolutely. Without Henry Plant, the city of Tampa really doesn't exist the way we know it now. The Tampa Bay Hotel, that's that big red brick building with the minarets on top, he built that building so that people would have a place to stay when they rode his trains down to Tampa, and now it's a museum. So people of all ages can learn about life during the Victorian period and what it was like to be a guest in early Tampa.
He was a big railroad builder and developer.
Absolutely, yeah. Henry Plant built a railroad into Tampa. He also had an empire of steamships as well, so you could ride his trains down from the north, stay in his hotels for a few weeks, and then get on a steamship and go to Cuba or the Keys or Mobile.
What an amazing adventure at the time in the 1800s. So you brought some things from the museum. Let's talk about what you brought.
Yes, what I have in front of me here, these are some of our items from our touch tray. We have a lot of children who come to the museum on field trips, and we want them to feel connected to the past and feel connected to the story of the Tampa Bay Hotel, and getting them to actually pick up some items and touch them and what is this thing? What was it used for? This is really helpful for getting kids excited about the past.
Now, what are you holding in your hand right now?
I am holding a Tussie Mussy.
What's that?
A Tussie Mussy in 1890s Tampa, it didn't smell very good if you went outside. So you might have a nice little sprig of flowers in here so that you could just hold them and smell something nice as you're walking around the streets that are not a very clean place to be.
So the 1800s version of air freshener?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Also, kids, when they come to the museum, they're used to flip-flops and shorts and sunglasses, and we show them a shoe like this, and this has 20 buttons on it. Can you imagine using this button hook to button all of these every time you put your shoes on?
That's how you would have to do it.
Absolutely. So we pass these items around, let the kids touch them, really make that connection to history.
Building the hotel that Henry Plant built, where the museum is located, was quite a feat. It's 3 acres, I read. 3 acres. It occupies 3 acres of land.
Yeah, when the hotel was first built, 3 acres, absolutely. But the grounds were 150 acres. There was a power plant. There was a performing arts center. Babe Ruth hit the longest home run of his career at Plant Field, right at the Tampa Bay Hotel.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of the biggest hotels in the world, isn't it? In terms of if you walked around it, I hear it's a mile.
Well, if you walk from one end of the building to the other, just the hallway, not around the outside, it's a quarter of a mile from one end to the other.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what kinds of things, what else do you have inside the museum itself?
Well, we're so lucky that we have a lot of the original artwork and furniture from the Tampa Bay Hotel. It's been in its original location for 126 years. The hotel closed in 1932, and the museum opened the very next year. So you can see all of these things just as they were, and you really feel like you're stepping back into the past.
And these are prime objects from the famous Gilded Age.
Absolutely. We have, wonderful pieces from Plant's buying expeditions in Paris and in Europe, and really some amazing pieces. We have a Wedgwood swan vase that is the largest piece Wedgwood ever made, and you can see these things right in your own hometown.
Now, this is Give Day Tampa Bay, so the museum, where does it get its funds from, and why is Give Day so important to the museum?
Give Day is so important because we offer a lot of programs. We offer a lot of free opportunities for people to come to the museum. We have a library pass where you can go to any of the Hillsborough County libraries and check out a free pass to come to the museum. Donations on Give Day support all these programs, reduced rates for field trips so kids can learn about button hooks and Tussie Mussies.
Well, Lindsay, thanks for keeping history alive at the Henry B. Plant Museum.
It's our pleasure. We're so happy to be able to do it.
And good luck on
Thank you.
Give Day Tampa Bay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, while our next guests are being seated, let's go to our leaderboard and get an updated total on the donations that have come in so far today. Lindsay, thank you. our next nonprofit is the Ryan Neese Foundation, and we're joined by three people. Shelley Sharp is the CEO, and two students who are involved in the Ryan Neese Foundation program are Savas Farakidze and Emma Heston. And welcome to WEDU, and thanks for coming by on Give Day.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so remind us, Ryan Neese, he was a Bucks player, wasn't he?
Yes, he did. He played for the Bucks and was on the winning Super Bowl team.
And he set up a foundation for the purpose of?
Ryan wanted to formalize his charitable giving in the Tampa Bay community, and the foundation is now 10 years old. And 5 years ago, the student service program was begun, and Savas and Emma are in our 4th class, and we will be getting our 5th class of students in the fall.
Okay, we're going to talk about the student service aspect of it in just a moment, but we've got some video about the foundation, and let's play that right now.
The student service program was designed to try to educate teenagers, high school juniors and seniors, on the power of giving, on the importance of thinking about others, on the importance of asking the question, how can I help you? How can I make a difference in your life? And if we can teach our students through this program those principles, wow, what an opportunity to make an impact. What an opportunity for them to go on in their lives and grow and become the citizens that we want them to become in our communities, sharing the power of giving, being servant leaders.
I joined the Ryan Neese Foundation to help out in my local community. I knew that we were also going to do a trip and help out in another area too, but that my main motivation was how can I help my local community even more, and the Ryan Neese Foundation does that perfectly.
I joined the foundation to learn different leadership skills and also to meet a very good group of people and to go on a trip to go to culminating activity to learn about how we can positively affect other people.
The students in our student service program are all really high potential students. They really have a big heart and they have a passion for community service. Many of them were already involved through their schools and their churches and their communities before they joined our program. And now they have the opportunity to learn about a different issue in depth each month, not only in Tampa Bay, but in places like here in Flint and Detroit and in other places where we plan our service learning trips in the future.
And Emma and Savas, tell us where you go to high school.
Well, I go to Hillsborough High School, and I'm in the IB program there.
Which is a great program.
Yes.
Too much homework, right?
A lot of homework.
Okay, all right. You got to get back home to do your homework after this. And Emma, how about you?
I go to Academy of the Holy Names.
Oh, really great. Right there on Bayshore.
Yes.
One of the great classic schools. So tell me, why did you get involved, and what kinds of things have you done in the Ryan Neese Foundation program?
Well, as a student in the Tampa Bay area, I said, I want to give back to the community, and the Ryan Neese Foundation Student Service Program gave me that opportunity. I said, I want to learn, and they said, we're going to teach you. And so each month we have our monthly meetings where we learn from different charitable organizations and even for-profit organizations how they help with charity. And from that I've learned how it works. And then each month we also do a service project to put our knowledge into action.
Where have you done a service project?
We've done them all over Tampa Bay. One of them that comes to mind was we built these oyster bars over in Riverview with the Tampa Bay Watch, and that was a lot of fun. We got to ride on the boats out there.
Emma, how about you? Why did you get involved, and what have you done?
I wanted to learn more about what was affecting our community. I knew there's homelessness and hunger, but I wanted to kind of delve deeper into the issues in our community. So there's environmental issues, teen homelessness, which was not something I was educated about. There is hunger. All our neighbors are hungry. And it was just so interesting to learn about all of them. And as we each go to the service projects, I really got to learn more. So
do you envision yourself in some sort of leadership position when you're after you graduate from college?
It's something I'm really interested in looking forward
Savas,
to.
Too?
Definitely. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and I hope to do in the future.
And Shelley, if people want to get involved in the program, do you start at the beginning of every school year?
Yes, we have an open application period at each spring that just ended, where we have At that time, sophomores apply to the program, and they are selected. It's a competitive program, and they are based on their already demonstrated passion for community service and the types of volunteer work that they do, and their leadership potential. They have letters of recommendation from community service organizations from their schools, and so they join us and do a 2-year program.
This is fantastic, and thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
And Shelley Savas and Emma, thanks for coming by.
You.
Thank you.
Well, while our next guests are being seated, let's go to our leaderboard, and we'll get an updated total on the donations that have come in so far. Well, our next nonprofit is the Children's Cancer Center, and we're joined by Isaiah Lucas and Isaiah's mom, Sarah. And Isaiah and Sarah, welcome. Nice to see you. And Julian Bourbon is are you the CEO of the Children's Cancer Center?
I am in charge of all our development and community outreach for the center.
Okay, well, welcome to WEDU and Give Day Tampa Bay. So tell me, what is the Children's Cancer Center?
Well, the Children's Cancer Center is a nonprofit that's been in the Tampa Bay area since 1974. And what we do at the Children's Cancer Center is we alleviate stress and we provide immediate support for families that are battling cancer and chronic blood disorders. So we offer over 24 programs to those families in need.
So when the families come to a local hospital, is that when you get involved?
Exactly. So you have to be treated at one of our 4 hospitals here in the Tampa Bay area. And the way it works is our referral program from the social workers at the hospitals. They'll refer the patient and the family to us. And we go out in our community outreach. Our program coordinators will go out to the hospital and introduce themselves and the center. We actually provide what we call a love bundle. It's a care package for the child as a gift and just to present the 24 programs that we offer. And we ask them to come on and see the programs. All of them are completely free of charge. And it's just a really great way to connect not only parents, I think, that can relate and going through the same situation, but also for kids to be able to meet other kids that are going through the same thing.
How did you decide, or how did the center decide there was a need for this?
Well, this actually started by the Burnett family, Cecile and Mac Burnett. They lost their daughter, Helen Burnett. And them with Dr. Judish, who was her doctor at the time, they decided that there was no support. And what we provide, our 3 legs of our mission, is emotional, financial, and educational support. And together they opened the center and decided that it was time for something to be built so that parents can really have a resource to go to.
Sarah, tell me about your situation. How did you get involved here?
Well, Isaiah was diagnosed just before he turned 3 in February of 2014 with stage 4 neuroblastoma. And we just were at a point, he's now 6 and in remission, by the way. So very, very thankful for that. But we just needed a family because it's so hard for people that haven't been through this to understand. It's easy to say you understand, but until you've walked in those shoes, you really just can't. And it's not anything medical. It's simply just families getting together that are walking the same journey. And they come alongside of us and give us the opportunity to build that relationship with other families. They've helped us with mortgage payments. They've helped us with things for my older son, who sometimes gets forgotten, the siblings of the kids, because so much of the focus is on the sick kids. And they just overall provide just such a support for the whole family as a whole.
Taking care of Isaiah's treatment, or for anybody, any child who's dealing with cancer and going through the surgery and the treatment, it's a full-time job for the moms and dads.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was I was a stay-at-home mom, but there was a point where my husband had to take off work as well. He was having treatment that was life-threatening. It was the first time in his hospital that they had actually had that treatment. So it was very stressful, but he's a champ. So
Isaiah, how are you doing?
Good.
What do you think about the Children's Cancer Center? Pretty good people?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me, are you dressed that way because you have a favorite character from TV?
I'll take over this question for you. We're actually dressed this way today. He's one of my little minions today, and I'm Gru because it is our theme for Give Day Tampa Bay today. We decided to pick a minion theme because it really embodies the spirit of our center. Our center is about being happy, forgetting all the other things that are going on in your lives, and getting there and getting to be supported and finding friends and meeting new people. And so I think the Minions movie is just a really fun, positive movie that embodies our image at the center.
Is that your favorite movie?
You
have other favorites?
It's one that we watched over and over when he was in treatment in the hospital, for sure.
All right. Well, Sarah and Isaiah and Julian, thank you so much for coming by
Thank
WEDU.
you.
And Isaiah, great to see you.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there are a number of incentives and prizes to encourage you to donate. The Tampa Bay Lightning Community Improvement Prize of $2,500 each is awarded to both the small nonprofit and large nonprofit in the community improvement category, with the most online donors today. So please give generously to the nonprofits working to improve the quality of life in our community. Go to giveday.org and choose your favorite charity. Well, there are lots of ways that individuals can decide that they need to start a nonprofit organization. Let's hear another story about someone deciding that they needed to give back and help out.
There was a need. There was a breeder dump up in the northern part of the state, and there was suddenly a bunch of dachshunds in shelters, and they were kill shelters. And the shelters were not prepared to handle so many dogs coming in, so the dogs were going to be euthanized, and these ladies stepped up and started the rescue. The vast majority of our dogs are adopted. We do have some dogs that are deemed to be forever fosters or hospice dogs. If a dog has a terminal illness, for example, we will set it up in one of our hospice foster homes. They'll get the best love and comfort care until it's their time to cross the Rainbow Bridge. This is Macy, and Macy was hit by a car about 2 months ago, and her owners were not able to afford her vet care. And as a result, they surrendered her to our organization. She has a clean bill of health now. She is a down dachshund, which means she's not able to walk on her back legs, and she is incontinent. But she is a 1.5 years old, and she is a bundle of love and joy and gives the best kisses ever. So, you know, her life is just beginning, and there is a home out there for her, and we're going to find it. I grew up with dachshunds, so I'm partial. You know, it's what I had as a family pet. I think they're amazing animals. They are loyal, and they are smart, and they're stubborn, and they're incredibly loving. So I think they're great dogs. And they give good kisses.
I love dachshunds. Well, our next nonprofit is Embracing Legacy Incorporated, and 3 members of this group are with us right now. Randy Norman is here, Ashley Powell, and Antoine Underwood are here. And let's find out what Embracing Legacy is. Who wants to take that question?
Hi, Embracing Legacy is a nonprofit here in Tampa, Florida, and our mission is to reach 1,000 youth a week. We do that through quality programming as well as different events in the community where we go out and perform. We have a band, we have our arts program, we have multiple programs that youth can get involved in.
What's the community that you generally serve? Is it Hillsborough County or?
Hillsborough, Pinellas, mainly Hillsborough.
And how was Embracing Legacy founded?
Well, Embracing Legacy was started actually out of a very tragic event due to gun violence that impacted 2 families. And our founder, Pastor Greg Poe, thought well, if we could have put a trumpet in the hands of those two young men, then how very different would their lives and the trajectory of their lives have been? And so Embracing Legacy was birthed. And from there, it began with the marching band, and Antoine Underwood is the director of our marching band, and we also have a creative arts program called Artists of Vision. We have a choir. We also have an academic umbrella that does tutoring and SAT prep and partners with Junior Achievement, and then we also have a robotics club, and so that is how we actually reach our youth to change the trajectory of their lives and the legacy that they leave behind.
Antoine, was the band here last year? Am I remembering correctly? Because I remember that they were over there and they took the stage, and then everybody just kind of like sat there with their mouths open saying, wow, that's a great band.
Yes,
so you're the director of that band?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I founded the band in 2006. I moved here from Alabama with Pastor Poe, and we started the band not knowing what the direction would be, just to get kids off the street, to get them not to join a gang, but join an organization that love them, that would teach them not just music, but life skills, things that they need, discipline, how to respect for authority, some things that youth need. And so we did that. And this year we actually turned 10 years old. And so we're the oldest program in Embracing Legacy, so we're called the I. And so we go out into the communities and go out to different places just to show awareness of what Embracing Legacy is to the community.
So has it made a difference? Have you seen that in families and the kids that are members of the group that a change has been made?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I think without a doubt we'll find that, and a lot of times, of course, you get the feedback from the parents, but then we see the impact in their grades, we see the impact in their behavior, and then we see the impact in the students who had no desire to go on to higher education, who had no desire to serve in the armed forces, and then they go on and they do that. Their attitudes change. They become leaders, which is most important in our community, that we develop leaders, children who have skills that, they want to show discipline and focus and honor and respect for authority, so that then they'll be able to impact the next generation to come.
Ashley, what would you say the biggest need of Embracing Legacy? What's the biggest need of your group?
Our biggest need are the materials to help us serve even more youth. We have about 100 youth in our band, and we don't have quite enough instruments and uniforms to outfit them. So we need all types of instruments: trombones, baritones, sousaphones, the big ones.
And that's what the money today would be used for, to help make sure that all the kids are equipped with the uniforms and the instruments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. In addition to the art supplies for our art program, as it stands right now, our Artists of Vision program, they do some amazing things. Our kids are building architectural design, so they have built houses for their next art showcase, and so all of the materials that go into an art program for pottery and lamp making and sewing and that sort of thing, as well as our robotics program, they go to competitions, and so computers for programming. And so it's not just about the money in terms of buying the things that they need, but it's also volunteers. We need more volunteers, dedicated volunteers, to come in and impact the lives of these children that are skilled.
So if people want to find out more, because I'm sure a lot of people are watching this saying, wow, what a great program, how can they find out more? Do you have a website?
Absolutely. EmbracingLegacy.org. They can always start right there, and that will give them the baseline on how to get in touch with us and to get involved. And then, of course, we're on social media. Everybody is. Yeah, and so Facebook is a great place to find us as well, and to see some fantastic photos and videos of our kids in action.
All right. So Randy and Ashley and Antoine, thank you so much. Thanks for coming by WEDU.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for doing what you do.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, while our next guests are being seated, let's go to our leaderboard and get an updated total on the donations that have come in so far today. Well, you're watching Give Day Tampa Bay on WEDU TV. Let's talk to some folks who are experts on Give Day, how it works, and how we're doing so far today. And with us is Wilma Norton, who is with the Tampa Bay Community Foundation, who is one of the people organizing Give Day Tampa Bay. Wilma, great to see you.
Thanks, Rob. Good to see you again.
All right, so are you happy with today so far?
Today has been such a great day. I think if anybody's been watching today, we've had babies, we've had a World War II veteran, we've had animals of every sort, we've had horses in here today.
There have been dancers.
There have been dancers, there have been singers. It's been just a great day that has really showcased all the fabulous nonprofits in our area.
Now, we've got till midnight tonight.
Midnight tonight.
How many people are you hoping will make a donation to Give Day Tampa Bay?
Well, so far we've had almost 9,000 donations by about 7,300 people. I'd like to see 10,000 by the end of the night. We want the numbers to keep going up, but really our emphasis this year, as you and I have talked about on your show earlier today, is to get more people engaged in giving, and that's why we had lowered the donation to $5 from $25. And some of the folks I've talked to here today said they're seeing names on their donor list of people they've never heard of before. And so that's really what we want to accomplish, both for the nonprofits and for the people who live in the community. We want them to get excited and involved in being a philanthropist.
This really changes philanthropy from just the folks who have, lots and lots of income to the folks that might be have more modest incomes, middle incomes.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think you can't make an impact unless you have a lot of money to give. But what Give Day proves is a lot of smaller donations add up to a big impact. And that's one of the messages. And really that we want people to feel happy and proud of our community and involved and invest in our community.
I've been watching a little bit, and then some of the people I've interviewed in the last half hour or so, they do a whole lot with just a little bit of money.
With just a little bit of money, that is absolutely true. And so
a $30 or $50 donation or a $25 donation to a group that gets almost no outside support, that could be huge.
I was on one of the TV shows last night with the group Close to Kids, and for $50 they can supply a child with enough outfits for a whole week at school, different outfits, including socks and underwear and the whole thing. And think about that.
That's huge.
A lot of us will drop $50 on a T-shirt, and I don't, but some of us do.
I know what you're saying.
And so I think nonprofits really are masters at doing a lot with a little, and that's why every little bit counts.
All right, well, let's hope we have a really successful day by midnight tonight.
And just keep giving, giveday.org. It's really simple. I made a couple of donations in about 90 seconds earlier, so go on the website, look around, find something that touches your heart.
All right, well, Wilma Norton of the Community Foundation Tampa Bay, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. Well, while our next guest is being seated, let's go to our leaderboard and get an updated total on the donations that have come in so far. All right, that was good, I think. Well, our next guest is Bridget Robertson, who is with the Friends of the Joshua House Foundation. And Bridget, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming by.
Very nice to meet you too, Rob. Thanks for having us.
So tell us about the Joshua House Foundation.
Well, Friends of Joshua House Foundation directly supports Joshua House. Joshua House is a therapeutic group home for children who've been abused, abandoned, and neglected. It is run by the Children's Home Society of Florida, but we provide direct support to provide the things that the children need to overcome all the abuse and neglect that have been in their life. Most of our children that come to us have been through numerous foster homes, sometimes 5, 6, 10, 15. As you can imagine, that brings a lot of baggage with it. One of the things that's unique about Joshua House is we have a therapist on site. So if a child is having a bad day or having some issues or nightmares or something, there's a therapist there to provide that support. They don't have to wait a week, 2 weeks in order to go to see their next therapist appointment. So we provide the support that the children need to overcome all the tragedies that have happened to them.
You know, I'm just guessing, but we live here in Florida. A lot of people have moved here from other places, and I would imagine that the family structure here is a little bit different than the family structure might be in other communities. Do we have a higher need for this kind of service here than maybe in the Midwest and some of the communities where people live all their lives, or is that the wrong way to look at it?
No, it's not the wrong way to look at it. There's some alarming statistics. Over 1,700, close to 1,700 children were removed from their homes due to abuse in Hillsborough County last year. That's the highest total in 10 years. So the number of children that are being removed from their homes is growing. It just seems that I think more people are reporting the abuse, so that may be part of it. But it doesn't seem like we have that extended family structure that you're talking about, that maybe in the Midwest and, you know, that they do. I don't think we have that here. So, you know, there's just so many alarming statistics about children in foster care and who have been abused and removed, is that 1/3 of those children who have been abused or neglected will go into the future and abuse their own children. What we're trying to do at Joshua House is break that cycle. We provide the therapies that they need. You know, children in foster care bounce from school to school because they move through foster homes. We have tutors there from USF that come in to tutor the children, so our children, their grades are getting better, you know, and we have an Earn to Learn program, so we're trying to encourage them to develop.
Give us an idea of the numbers. Just for instance, for Joshua House alone, about how many clients do you have a year?
We have about 150 children come through every year. And since Joshua House was started 25 years ago, close to 1,800 children have lived with us. Now, some of them come for a month, 2 months, some of them come for years, just depending on what the situation is. But we're there to provide that support. You know, we're on 11 acres, there's 5 homes, so the children live in a home-like environment. So they cook their own food, they cook dinner, they have chores, so they're growing up in that family environment that they may not have had.
Have you seen a lot of successes over the years?
We have seen a lot of successes over the years. Just when we see the children come in and they're so despondent and they won't talk to anybody, and just through the therapy and the nurturing environment at Joshua House, they totally come out of their shell, and it's just amazing to see that on a daily basis.
So the money that people donate today on Give Day Tampa Bay is going to go to these kind of services. What's the biggest need? If you had somebody came to you and said, okay, you know, here's $100,000, what would you do with it?
We would probably put that in the building fund for us because, as you can imagine, we have 35 children, and some of them have been through very traumatic situations. So, you know, hitting a wall or hitting a window is not uncommon. So those are probably one of the biggest needs that we have, is we are constantly updating and repairing things, because you can understand a lot of these children come to us with a lot of anger over the situations they've been in, and this is the type of family environment they have been in the past. So they're just replicating that. We're there to break that cycle.
Well, it's such important work. Bridget Robertson, thank you for coming by and telling us about the Friends of the Joshua House Foundation.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you. Well, there's lots of ways that individuals can decide that they need to start a nonprofit organization. Let's hear another story about someone deciding that they needed to give back and help out.
Our organization began providing services to the Jewish community in 1960 to address counseling needs and other special needs that were identified amongst the Jewish community there in Pinellas County. As those services began to grow and the needs began to grow, the organization incorporated in 1974 and began to provide services to the broader community. The amazing thing about that is that since 1974, our services have grown so much to where we're impacting more than 30,000 people a year, and less than 5% of them are now Jewish. So we're providing services to all people of all faiths and all backgrounds. We have more than 35 distinct program areas caring for more than 5,000 children a year who are in the foster care system, helping children to stay at home with their families by strengthening families. We also, over our 20-year history with the non-custodial parent employment program, we have helped more than 22,000 parents provide child support for close to 60,000 children. And so that's been a great program because for every dollar that's invested, we return $3.24 in child support to the state of Florida. We also are caring for more than 250 Holocaust survivors in the Tampa Bay region, helping to resettle refugee families, and we resettled more than 200 last year in the Tampa Bay region. Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services is a non-sectarian agency. So we are not faith-based, though we are founded on values that promote healing the world and making it a better place. 88 cents of every dollar that we raise goes directly to supporting vulnerable families, adults, children, the elderly, those in foster care. We helped facilitate close to 100 adoptions last year alone. So the money makes a difference, and it goes where the donors want it and need it to go, to those who we serve.
Well, our next nonprofit is the Suncoast Hospice Foundation, and Kelly Allen from the foundation is here. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, especially as we're raising all this money for Give Day Tampa Bay.
It's a great day.
So tell us about the Suncoast Hospice Foundation. Are you based in Pinellas County?
We are. The Suncoast Hospice Foundation actually supports Empath Health's family of programs and services that are all around about providing life-changing care and support for people and families who have chronic and advanced illnesses, end-of-life care, and bereavement support.
So how does the Hospice Foundation use the money? What kind of services does the foundation use the money towards?
Well, we actually provide millions of dollars a year in what we call uncompensated care. And anyone who is underinsured, uninsured, or maybe needs support and services that are outside of what insurance would pay for. So that's where the donations and the community support comes in. We are obviously a not-for-profit, community-based organization.
You know, I think people don't realize that towards the end of many people's lives, they essentially run out of money. They run through most of their resources.
Yeah, that is often
Is that where
case.
hospice comes in?
Well, hospice, we are compensated through the hospice Medicare benefit, but like I said, there are things that come up that people need that are outside of that, and perhaps, and we serve patients at every age and stage of life, so it isn't just older folks who have saved up money over time. I mean, we serve newborns, and unfortunately.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. So it's not just older people that we serve, and families need assistance sometimes, and we do a lot of things kind of outside of the box. We helped one young lady who was terminal get married. We helped facilitate that process in working with some of our community partners. We've got lots of stories. In fact,
well, give us another story of somebody who's used the services of the Suncoast Hospice Foundation that they couldn't turn to anybody else, that you really came through for them.
Well, we had a recent situation where we had a patient who needed to get back home to Maine, and we had been caring for her, and her care team worked for many weeks to facilitate getting her home, and that included purchasing an airline ticket, and she had no clothes, she had nothing really when she came to us. She had 2 cats. We even have programs that will help.
Was she homeless?
For all intents and purposes, yes. So we helped her through our resale shops. We got clothing for her. We got luggage she could get home.
Was she dying?
Typically when someone's in hospice care, they're in the last 6 months of their life. Of course, that's not an exact science. It doesn't always work that way, so it's hard to say. But
so she had no one else to turn to?
She had no one else to turn to, and she had no family here. She had 2 nieces back home she wanted to go be with, and so we facilitated that for her through our foundation and through generous community support.
So what's the biggest need that you have in addition to money at the Suncoast Hospice Foundation?
Well, we actually have a large need for volunteers. We have over 2,000 volunteers who support the work that we do, and we couldn't do it without them. Our resale shops, for example, are almost run almost 100% by volunteers. We have volunteers who sit with patients in times of need. We have volunteers who sit with patients so that their family can have a little bit of respite if needed. Like I said, 2,000 volunteers. And of course, in this community, we have a lot of people who come and go in the seasons. So, we feel that because a lot of our volunteers are people who've retired and want to give back. And they may be the ones going back up north for the summer, that kind of thing. So we always need volunteers.
And you're online. You're at the Suncoast Hospice Foundation.org. Would that be your address?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can certainly reach us there.
All right. Well, I hope that people make a donation and also volunteer. And Kelly Allen, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having us.
Great to see you.
Thank you. You too.
Well, while our next guests are being seated, let's go to our leaderboard and get another updated total on the donations that have come in so far today. Well, our next nonprofit is Beat NB, and we're joined now by Kyle Matthews, who is the, are you the CEO of Beat?
Executive Director.
Executive Director. Kyle, thanks for coming by, and Rochelle Patterson and Rhea Patterson. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, Rhea. How are you? Nice to see you. Rhea, have you been on TV before? Is this your first time on TV? Good, good. All right. Well, welcome to WEDU. So, Kyle, Beat NB. Is NB neuroblastoma?
It is.
And tell us, what is neuroblastoma?
Neuroblastoma is a childhood cancer. It's the most common cancer in infants, and it's a lot of people think it's brain because of neuro, but that's actually neurological, and it's your nerves actually. So it's a nervous cancer. It can be anywhere in the body. It's a solid mass tumor.
How dangerous is it?
Well, we're really good at getting kids to remission. We have a pretty high rate of that. One of the biggest problems is that over half of kids historically relapsed, which is actually what happened to my son in 2010, which is why we helped to found the group. So we're really working to stop that relapse because relapse historically has had a less than 5% survival rate. Mm-hmm. We are changing that, but we're working to stop relapse.
And did your son pass away?
He did, yeah,
Sorry to hear
in
about
2010.
That. What was his name?
Ezra.
Ezra.
Thanks for asking.
All right. Well, so how's the research on neuroblastoma?
So we're
research
accomplishing
for
a
cure,
lot.
Of course.
Yes,
yeah.
of course. Yeah, we're accomplishing a lot. When we started in 2010, we really didn't feel like there was enough research out there that was bold research that was actually seeing good results. And so we found a Dr. Giselle Scholler who had some incredible ideas. And long story short, we wound up starting our own research consortium. So we now have a consortium of 35 hospitals across the country who we've opened 19 clinical trials over the last 7 to 10 years and are seeing really amazing results. So Rhea is actually on one of the trials that we've launched.
Rochelle and Rhea, thank you for coming by. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So tell me, Rochelle, how long ago did Rhea begin to show symptoms?
She actually, she was seemingly very healthy. She was 2, so she's 5 now. So when she was 2 in 2014, she didn't have any unexplained fever. Everybody kind of presents differently. She did not have fevers, nothing like that. She started to limp. So seemed perfectly healthy but was limping. So we figured, she's a toddler, probably, fell or something off the couch or whatever. But anyway, long story short, the diagnostics showed a lesion and it had broken her knee from inside. So, and then the biopsy said neuroblastoma. They said it doesn't usually start in the bone, so somewhere else, and it had started on her adrenal gland. So she went through treatment, 15 months inpatient at Johns Hopkins All Children's.
And she's in recovery right now.
She went into remission actually in 5 months, which is pretty miraculous. And then they came in and they really positively impacted our lives by helping fund that DFMO trial. So it's a remission, like an anti-relapse pill that she takes twice a day.
So is that what Beat neuroblastoma, Beat NB mainly does? Is it helps people afford the cost of new treatments? Or?
Well, they fund the research.
Fund the research.
Right. So we actually we act as the foundation for the research consortium. So we are the ones that are driving the research, and we are the ones that are going out there and making sure that we have these cures.
Are we seeing an increasing incidence of neuroblastoma?
I'm not sure. I think that we are kind of starting to see more numbers. It hovers around 700 a year for neuroblastoma. I think that we just are diagnosing it better. I don't know if we're having more instances as much as we are being able to catch it and see it earlier.
And this effort has started right here in the Tampa Bay area.
Right. Yeah, we're a bunch of parents. There's about 12 of us across the country, including myself and my wife Robin, who started this group. And our only 2 employees are based right here in Tampa.
All right, and the donations go to help the research of the...
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kyle, and thank you, Rochelle. And Ray, thank you for being on TV with us. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, while our next guests are being seated, let's go to our leaderboard and get an updated total on the donations. That was great. Thank you. Thank you. Well, our next nonprofit is Girls Incorporated of Pinellas County, and with us is Christina Fartner and Kathy Michael. And thank you for coming by. Great to see you.
Having us.
What is Girls Incorporated?
Girls Inc. is nationally known for being the expert on girls' issues and the issues that girls face. We've been in the Tampa Bay area since 1961, and we provide life-changing programs that provide academic support with a focus on STEM and literacy, life skills, and healthy living to about 400 girls or more each year.
How do you interact with them? Where do you find the girls that get into the program?
We service 17 different schools in the Pinellas County School District, and the children can also be privately transported to and from by their parents.
Mm-hmm. And what other kinds of services does Girls Inc. Provide for girls?
Well, we're an after-school program, summer camp and spring break program, and then we're also open on days when the schools are closed for teachers' work days and that type of thing. So we provide that out-of-school care time.
Mm-hmm. And over the years, how many girls have taken part in the program in Pinellas County?
Well, we've been around since 61.
Yeah, a lot of girls.
56 years times about 400 girls.
So can you give us some examples of how Girls Inc. has changed young women's lives here in the Tampa Bay area, some people that you've met in the program that have eventually gone on to do bigger and better things?
So, well, Girls Inc. of Pinellas is changing the statistics right here for girls in our community, and I can tell you that about 22% of girls, on an average, over high school girls nationally, they are not happy with their body. 78% of Girls Inc. girls are happy and confident in their own skin. We're teaching them to make big dreams, to pursue big goals, and to persevere. And 3 out of 4 of our Girls Inc. girls earn mostly A's and B's in school. 96% avoid chronic absenteeism in school, and 82% plan to go to college. So it makes a big difference for the girls in our community.
This idea of not liking yourself because you get these images in magazines and on TV of kind of like, you know, what society says is the perfect woman, which is not, you know, how most people look.
Not practical.
I mean, you've got to overcome that. You've got to.
Well, and some people will say that that's not a big deal, that everyone's self-conscious in some way, but when you think that 60% of girls will not participate in something they're interested in just because they're self-conscious, that's a big deal. You could be leaving out someone that could be the next scientist, or, you know, that discovers a cure for cancer because they didn't want to speak up in science class. So It is a big deal.
And you talked about STEM classes and literacy programs too. So you really encourage girls to get involved in the STEM classes and also literacy. And
Absolutely, and we have a STEM Woman of the Year luncheon coming up on Friday, actually. And every year we honor a woman in a STEM field who is not only in a STEM field but also mentors young girls or young women. So we're always promoting that.
So tell me about the summer camp. What goes on at the summer camp that Girls Inc. does?
Well, when you talk about STEM, we actually have a STEM theme each year. So our STEM theme for last year was coding, robotics, and engineering, and this year it's architecture by design. So the girls are learning from a variety of angles. We partner with our community, so we have great partners with Tech Data and Microsoft. They come in and do coding with the girls, as well as computer mentors and IT Women of Tampa Bay. We have, countless. Lockheed Martin, we have a Creating the Future program with them, where they come in and show the girls engineering projects and promote science fair projects with them. We have one of our newest partners is our USF, local USF St. Pete team, an all-star dance team. They're coming out and doing dance with the girls. So the girls have a lot of opportunity.
The architecture by design theme was chosen by the girls.
So we're in the last few seconds, but what is the target age for girls? What girls, what age group?
Yeah. Kindergarten through high school.
Okay.
So the high schoolers can be interns and earn internship hours towards their Bright Futures hours. And we also have a National Girls Inc. scholarship that they can apply for.
And let's say that we've got a young woman who's watching at home, watching this, or we've got a mom or dad who's watching this at home and wants to get their young person involved. How can they do that?
Give us a call and come take a tour.
And our website is girlsinc-pinellas.org.
All right. Well, Christine and Kathy, thank you very much for coming by WEDU.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, while our next guests are being seated, we're going to go back to our leaderboard and get an updated total on the donations that have come in so far. All right. All right, well, welcome back. We're with Mark Welsh, who is with the Guardian Ad Litem program. And Mark, welcome
Thank you.
I saw you earlier on the honor flight, so you've got several charities that you're representing.
I think a lot of people here have many, multiple charities that they work with.
Guardian ad litem, are you in Hillsborough or Pinellas County? Where are you?
Our Sixth Circuit is Pinellas and Pasco, but we also have Guardian ad litem in Hillsborough and in the Bay Area.
A lot of people hear Guardian ad litem and they wonder what it is.
Yeah. In the Bay Area, there are approximately 3,000 kids a year that go through the court system. Approximately 2,000 are assigned guardians. And the function of a guardian, as you can see on my little prop here, is court appointed, is to be a trained volunteer and advocate for the child. It's not big brothers or big sisters. It's not a feel-good. It's to make sure that these kids' needs, both in terms of safety, nurturing, education, medical, are being met in the foster environment that they have. We will go to the schools, we'll go to the doctors, we'll monitor the kids' progress and try to enable them to thrive at some point.
These are all kids in the foster care system?
All kids in the foster care system. There are of the 3,000 that go through the system every year, approximately 1,000 currently do not have guardians. So our message is not money. It's to go to Hero to a Child and sign up to be a guardian, please.
Volunteer.
We desperately need volunteers to be the advocates of these wonderful children.
There's a training program that every
Yes.
guardian ad litem volunteer goes through.
Yes.
Tell me how long the training program is?
It's when I went through it 9 years ago, it was approximately 12 weeks, a couple hours a night. It's comprehensive, but the needs of the guardian, of the trained guardian, are such that we really need to understand how to best deal with not just the children, the parents, the legal system, the case managers, everything involved. Go to court, be able to be an advocate in court, and give them the proper information.
Guardians also do home visits, I understand,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So wherever they're staying, if they're staying with their birth parent or if they're staying in the foster care system, the guardian ad litem goes there to make sure that the conditions are right.
Yes, we assume that all foster care is appropriate and noble and all that good stuff, and most of it is. But we just want to assure that if it's in a family foster environment or a paid foster family, that these kids' needs are being attended to in a comprehensive way.
What happens if a child, and we're talking about kids that are 3, 4, 5, 6 years old?
They could be 3, 4, 5 days old, months old, up to 18 years old, everything in between.
What happens if somebody is in the foster care system and there's court issues and the judge has to make a decision and there's no advocate for the child in that court proceeding? What happens to that child?
That's the Achilles heel. If there is not a guardian ad litem to have been involved with that child, then that's kind of a missing link, so to speak. That's why we desperately need these guardians to be that advocate, the voice of the child, the one-on-one understanding of what the child is experiencing, what the child's needs are, and how to approach the court and the judge to make the appropriate decision on the future of the child and the future of the case.
All right. Well, Mark Welsh, thanks a lot. I wish we had more time, but thank you for doing this really important work.
Again,
thank you.
HeroToAChild.org.
All right. Mark, thanks. Well, while our next guests are being seated, let's go to our leaderboard once again and get an updated total on the donations that have come in. Mark, thanks a lot. Wilma Norton is back from the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay. Wilma, what a day it's been.
Whew. I've been at this since about 5 o'clock this morning, so it feels like a very long day, but a very exciting day, and we've still got 5 hours to go. So don't lose the momentum. We've had about 7,500 people give $1.3 million so far. So we've still got a long way to go to get where we want to be in terms of donors. And
people who are watching this need to call their friends.
exactly. Share it on Facebook. Tweet about it. Call your friends and say, go to giveday.org. You can help. And it doesn't take much time and it doesn't take much money, but collectively we can do a lot of good. So.
And just talking to the groups that I've interviewed in the last hour, some of these are just heartbreaking stories that you hear.
Every year when we do this, it's like you watch 8 hours of these stories and you can't help but be inspired by the work that's going on, and you have to want to help. I keep picking up my phone and making another donation, and so that's what we need other people to do too. Pick up your phone, donate to 1, 2, 3, as many organizations as you can, as much as is meaningful for you.
All right, well, we've got till midnight tonight.
Till midnight.
Wilma Norton, Tampa Bay Community Foundation.
Thanks,
Thank
Rob.
you. Well, that wraps up our Give Day Tampa Bay webcast, but you can log on to giveday.org anytime before midnight tonight and make your contribution to your favorite nonprofit organization. You can choose from more than 500 organizations, and you'll be supporting those groups who keep the Tampa Bay area healthy and strong. Thanks for supporting Give Day Tampa Bay. I'm Rob Lorei. Have a good night.